Yes, yesterday I think we were able to run the one sample T test. That was what we were able to do yesterday before we close. So we want to now quickly look at the. I don't think anybody has question. You know that day, yeah, yesterday, uh, because of the meeting I had with some people. And the meeting did not hold because the person that was to facilitate the meeting no forgot and they rescheduled it to today again, 8:30. No, I hope I'm not so happy with that. But there was nothing I could do. Because though I know that this one is between 2 to 6:30, but sometimes I want to go beyond 8:30. But I'm sure tomorrow, the last day, we'll be able to go beyond. You know, do evaluation, do a lot of things. The last day, we usually spend more time. So, I don't know, is there any question concerning what we did yesterday? Any question? Concerning that, we ran the one sample T yesterday. Is there any question?
Yes, running the SPS, we enjoyed it. Somebody was trying to ask a question, but the person is not here, I think. I've forgotten the question.
Okay, is it Dr. Balogun? Yeah, no, I don't think so because Dr. Balogun was asked his question. When I just run and now we have to stop here. I don't know, Ugo Naya, did you have question yesterday concerning the one we ran? Ugo.
You were asking us about the confidence interval. That is it significant?
Yeah, you told me that it was significant. So
I was trying to ask you if what the answer was, but I know because you had to rush for your meeting. So I just said, okay, let me.
Okay.
So you remember?
Okay.
Well, I think that's where we ended. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's where. Yes, I know that was where we ended. At the
whether it was correct or not.
Yes. But what was the consensus? Maybe let me just run the same thing quickly now because just to run it so that we discuss it because there's no need for rushing when it comes to that because that's the interpretation result. And most of the time, even when we are in journal review or we are in a presentation, is that the result. You know, it's the result that is very, very important for us to interpret. Let me just quickly run the same thing. Okay. Ebola victim. Okay, it's the same thing now. I've even open. Yes. Okay, analyze. I think we know how to go through. Just click, analyze, then go to compare means. Then one sample t-test.
No, let's go. I think.
I'm not sharing.
I think we should just do it again so that we'll not. You are not sharing.
Okay. There, yes, I will do it again. Let me share now. I thought I was sharing it. I wanted to share the SPSS. Where is it? Okay. Analyze. We go to, you can see, analyze. We go to compare means, one sample T. You now put the variable you want to compare, which is the age. You know, you remember the question is age distribution of 20 people, the Ebola victims. We try to compare the mean with the mean in another country. With the average age in another country is 33 years. But this one, they didn't
we are not seeing the screen yet.
You are not seeing the screen?
No.
I'm coming. Why is it not? I'm trying to even see. I'm coming. Okay, I know what has happened. You will see it now. Yeah, I think I minimize it. Okay, can you see it now? Can you see the SPSS?
Yes, sir.
That's the data view.
Okay, thank you. That's great. That's yeah. This is 20 of them. Age group, age of 20 people, the victim of Ebola. So these are the ages. Of course, we can easily calculate the mean, but we want to compare the mean of this age group with 33 in another country. The mean is 33. So we want to see the mean of this one. By the time we run, you go to see the mean and the way we compare. So you are comparing one group with a mean in the population. So you only have only one sample. It's not two samples now. But of course, you are still comparing two means because the mean of that sample and the mean in the population. That's why t-test is about two means. Either one sample or pair or independent. It's about two means. So when you now go to analyze, compare means, you now go to compare means. Compare means, sorry, analyze, compare means. You see option. The first one is means. The second one is one sample t-test. The third is independent sample t-test. The fourth is pair sample t-test. The last one is one way ANOVA. So we are not doing ANOVA now, but is these three options we are going to choose from. The mean just means we just run the mean. We don't run t-test for you, but one sample t-test. That's what we want to do. As you click age, you move age, you see dialog box like this, test variable. Don't worry, by the time I share the slide, before I share the slide, I will screenshot all this I'll put in the slide. When I screenshot, you know the difference there I'll put in this slide. So you move age, then all you just need to do, you see test value. You put it by default, it puts 0. You just type that mean you are comparing with, which is 33. If you look at that question, it's 33. When you just say okay. So you see that. Can you see the results? Okay, no, let me share that one also. I think I need to share it. Can we see the result now? Can we see it? Please, if you can see, let me know. Somebody should talk if you can see it. See the result.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, that's great. So you see that take annotation. Yes. You see the T 2.367. You know, this one, and there's nothing like 11 tests because it's not two samples. Because you don't, after all, you will not have access to the variance of the other ones. You don't have two samples. If you don't have two group of people, rather. You don't have two group of people. It's only one sample, yes. You don't have two group of subjects. So T is got to 2.376, and the degree of freedom is 19. Yes. The degree of freedom is 19 because there are 20 of them. 20 minus 1, 19. And p-value is 0.029. Look at the mean difference, 6.55. If you remove, look at the mean. The mean for the group is, for the sample is 39.5. And you compare with 33. When you remove 33 from 39.55, it gives you 6.55. That is the mean difference. The mean difference. So the mean difference, now the confidence interval. This table now is showing two things. Number one, is showing hypothesis testing. It's also showing confidence interval. So the T, degree of freedom, and p-value, that is the hypothesis testing. Then the mean difference and the confidence interval of the difference is confidence interval. Can you see? There are two methods of inferential method that have been displayed on this table now. But you remember that most of the time in our environment now, even in exam, few people show confidence interval. Ugo, your work, did you put confidence interval of the difference? You will put confidence interval in some of your results. In your work you have submitted for exam. Unmute yourself, we cannot hear. Did you put
Okay.
Did we put confidence interval? Do you have a mean and confidence interval of the difference in your results? I think it should be some of them, right? You can't remember. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's for the t-test we did.
Yeah, we put mean different, right?
Yes, but
and the 95% confidence interval. Is it in the results? You can't remember. Okay.
I can't remember, but it should be.
Sometimes I show it in the results. Sometimes your examiner here, they don't look at it, just p-value they after. Sometimes they even say you should remove it. Your examiner, your supervisor will say you should remove it. If you see it there, just know that you are showing two inferential methods. You are showing the p-value zone and the t-test is hypothesis testing. It's different from the confidence interval. That one also is an inferential method. Normally, you are supposed to show only one. And if you are told you are supposed to choose one, you choose confidence interval because it gives more information than the p-value. If you look at the p-value, can only tell you, is it significant or not? That's all. You end at 0.029. You say, oh, less than 0.05 is significant. It's not significant. But the confidence interval will give you three information. That is, two information in addition to whether it's significant or not. So you know the p-value tell you, is this significant or not? That's the only information it gives you. The confidence interval will give you the difference, which you are seeing, 6.55. Then it will now give you a range of value within which you can 95% confident that you find the population different. That is the population. So you are now saying that in your sample, the difference is 6.55. But the difference in the age of these two groups is 6.55. But that is the sample you have taken. But in the population, the real difference will be between, you are 95% sure that it will be between 0.76 and 12.34. That is the interpretation of confidence interval. Can you see? So you are 95% confident that in the population, the difference may not be just 0.6.5. You know, it may be less than that, it may be more than that. So you now give a range of value that between 0.676 to 12.34. You see that 6.55 is inclusive in between. So in the population now, the difference can be any value between those these two values. And you are 95% sure. So if you look at it, from there, then that is the second information. The third one is you can know if it's significant or not, and that is what the p-value tells you, if it's significant or not. But you can know also if it does not cross 0, include 0. You know, this one does not include 0. If you look at it now, it's 0.76. You know, I was trying to, maybe in the slide, final slide we share with you, I will try to draw something to put there. You know, I draw some, let me share what I drew that time, just to remember, for you to remember. So you remember, I draw something like this. Zero. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3.
So on.
And so on. Thank you. -1. -2. -3, and so on. So this, the bar is this 0. You know, if you are coming from minus, If your confidence interval is between plus and plus like this is the mean here. This is the confidence interval from here to here. Mean different. This is the mean difference. Then you can have a confidence interval that is like this. Maybe the mean difference is still here, but it's in between this range of value. You can have another confidence interval that is like this. So the mean difference here. Can you see there are 3 types now? No, you can even have one now. You can even say 4 types. You can have another one like this also. What it tell you is that if you look at it, these two here, the mean difference is positive, these two. But one is significant, the other one is not significant. The mean difference is positive here, but when you now look at the 95% confidence interval, it starts from negative to positive. Here, the mean difference is negative here. But when you look at 95% confidence interval, it starts from negative to positive. Here, the mean difference is positive. The 95% confidence interval from positive to positive. Here, the mean difference is negative. The confidence interval from negative to negative. So you see these two, that the 95% confidence interval includes 0 in the range. It's not significant. These other two, they are significant. Now, the reason is very simple. You know that the logic behind the difference between mean, t-test, is to remove one mean from the other. We have removed, if you look at it now, we remove the population mean from the mean of the sample. Now, if both of them are the same, the difference will be 0. And that is what null hypothesis says. There's no difference. So if the difference, if both of them are the same, we remove one, it will be 0. So even when it's not the same, it's not 0, the difference is not 0. If you now do 95% confidence interval and you now say the possible value in the population ranging between this minus so to plus something, that shows that in that range is 0. It can be any value along this continuum. Any value can be negative, it can be 0, it can be positive, it can be. Since 0 is one of the possible values in the population, so it's not significant. So that's why when confidence interval includes 0 of the difference, includes 0, it's not significant. But if it doesn't include 0, it's significant. Look at this one, plus, negative. Confidence interval from plus to plus, negative to negative. The issue is actually the same thing. The only difference is that here, you remove smaller value from bigger value. That's why I give you, thank you, larger value. That's why I give you positive. If you swap it, you now remove larger value from the smaller value, it will give you negative. Like this one we just did now. If let's say is the other one, the way they have structure is for the computer to remove. But if you want to do now, I can just put minus 33. If I put it there, what it will do is to change the something to negative. So it will be clear when we run independent t-test. We'll do it both ways. We put larger value, small value, larger value. You will see if it will be significant. But when you put larger value, you remove from smaller value, it will give you negative, and the confidence interval is negative to negative if it's significant. If you remove smaller value from larger value, it will give you positive, and the confidence interval will be from positive to positive. But if it's not going to be significant, whether you remove larger from smaller from larger, where it will give you either plus or negative, the confidence interval will range from negative and end at plus. It is not going to be significant. I think we still explain it further when we run for independent t-test. I think there's no question. Is there any question concerning it now? I think it's very clear. How to run
clear.
And the interpretation. Very, very important.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
You were saying something about on the negative side, if you remove the small, I understand the concept of that other negative one, the one on the other side still be significant because it's not crossing that zero line.
Okay.
But you were saying something about
Okay, don't worry.
subtraction.
Okay, what I will do is that when we run the next one, we're going to run independent two group. It will be clear. But you just understand the concept that if it doesn't cross zero, negative to negative is significant. Positive to positive is significant. It is when it is
The other
negative.
question.
What do you say? I will
Thank
explain
you,
that
sir. No,
one.
I was
That
saying
question. Okay, go on.
Okay. The other question I had was the one about confidence interval, because for example, when one is presenting like your results for your work, so that means ideally we should put in the confidence interval as well, in addition to the test statistic and the p-value.
Okay, let me tell you. If you follow my discussion, actually, the reasons, if there are two different things, two methods of inferential. The p-value is for hypothesis testing. The statistics and the p-value, t-test and p-value is hypothesis testing. Confidence interval, the mean difference and the 95% confidence interval is a different thing, is a different method of inferential statistics. Do you get it? So it's a different method. It's only that the computer, they just run it together. You are just seeing it when you do your t-test. It gives you both hypothesis testing and confidence interval at the same time. So it's two different methods of inferential statistics. And if you want to, you just choose one. But the reason is that what inform your choosing one? If you need to choose at all, it should be the confidence interval because it gives more information than p-value. The p-value gives you only one information, significant or not significant. That's the only thing it gives you. But the confidence interval, in addition to telling you if it is significant or not significant on its own, it will give you the mean difference. It also gives you a range of value within which you can be 95% confident that you find the population value. You get beyond, the value you've gotten, that mean difference statistic because is from your sample. It's the result of your sample. It's statistic. But the real difference is in the population is parameter. The real difference is parameter. So what that confidence interval is giving you is that in the population, the real difference in the population will be in between these two values. You are 95% sure. You are 95% sure that the real value will be in between these two values. That's what it means. Do you get the logic now? If you follow our discussion from when we're talking about inferential statistics, descriptive and inferential, we talk about statistic and parameter. Statistic is whatever you get in your sample. The parameter is the corresponding thing in the population. If let's say you are able to take measurement from all the elements in the population, what you will have gotten will be parameter. And in a situation where the population is large, cannot take it, it's only God that knows the parameter. No man knows it. So all those other things, just clue about the parameter. From your statistics now, you want to have clue about, are you close to the parameter or not? That's the essence of the inferential statistic. Do you get the logic now? That is the essence of the inferential. That is the help. So now, you will now see the logic behind it is that if you know that the confidence interval gives more information, you choose the confidence interval. That is why Lancet, when you publish a Lancet, they don't want to hear p-value. Give you the difference, even if it is odd ratio, give odd ratio and confidence interval. If it is mean difference, give mean difference and confidence interval. But in our environment here, many examiners, they don't even understand how to interpret the confidence interval. So you now have to, even if you put confidence interval, put your p-value so that somebody will not fail you because they are looking for your t and p-value. You get the picture now. They are looking for your t and your p-value. You have to put the other one. But normally, if you put only confidence interval, it will give you more than what p-value, t and p-value will give. I don't know if you understand me now.
No, I totally understand, sir. I understand you. So I think it depends on the requirements from the college, Abi, or from the school.
Is it the requirement or
Then,
the knowledge of the person that's examining you? You get a picture now?
anyway, that
Just
college.
give me one.
Yes,
Let me
yes.
start because
No, not college.
it's individual. It's not college. Well, people
It's not
individuals
college.
go to
It's
college.
the limit of your
Yes.
it's the limit of your supervisor and your examiner, not the college.
Okay.
Okay.
Prof, explain. I'm coming. Just 1 minute. Be explaining to her.
Hello, sir.
Hello, can hear you, sir.
No, be
So what
explaining
I'm
to her.
saying is that
When is coming?
the college does not have any policy.
Okay,
Hello?
okay. Yes, I can
The
hear you,
college,
sir.
are you a resident doctor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have been an examiner for about 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Faculty chairman and all that. The college doesn't have any policy. What we have, what I personally have discovered is that there are some supervisors who do not have as much information as even some of the candidates.
Yes.
Sometimes they so it's like saying when the candidate knows better than the supervisor, which can happen, the
Okay.
supervisor will be insisting on his old way.
Okay.
That's what Dollar is saying, and that's what exactly I do to my resident doctor. I say, look, you don't know who you are meeting exam. They may not know this. They will insist
Okay.
because they don't know the meaning of confidence interval and how to interpret it.
Okay.
And it
So
has put one of my part two candidates in trouble. And
wow.
there is nothing you can do. It is the error of the examiner because he's limited. He doesn't know it.
Okay. Okay.
So what the
Understand.
examiner is just looking at P. So for purposes of exam, you just put it for them.
Okay. Okay.
Not that the college wants you to write it that way. It's
Write
not
it
correct.
like that. Okay.
It's just like I will tell my student, look, if the examiner tells you that the correct thing is I will be went to Lagos, write it that way, but know the
Like that.
correct thing.
Okay.
Just give them what they want to pass. But
Okay.
if you want to publish now, part of your work in a journal, you know the correct thing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just the thing. Huh?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think it's clearer now, the way Prof has explained.
Yes, sir. It's very clear now. Yeah.
That's great. So that's why, as you yourself, you become one of them. So if you upgrade your life, you'll be able to inject the new idea.
Amen.
You'll be able to
Amen.
teach that level. But to
Okay,
me,
sir.
if a lot of younger ones, they want to be lazy. It's even the older one that want to learn. The younger one just want to be lazy. I don't know. So I think we continue. So let's continue. Let's quickly look at, we have trashed out that one now. Let's quickly look at the next one. So, I see the result is significant. So that's why I was trying to put it here, use and, but it's the same. So by the time we share we finish, I share the slide. I will try to even use and to run it, to put it so that you see the way it is, the logic before you run it. But of course, you are not going to be using hand to run it unless if you are writing the exam, they ask you to be calculating. Even that one also, the samples are very small. So then let's quickly look at the independent sample T now. So the one we first look at is one sample where you compare one sample with the population, one mean in the population. In this case now, there are two different samples. So the condition that can warrant that you having two samples is this. Maybe it's possible you are having, it's an experimental design. There are two experimental conditions. That is, you have a subject, the experimental group, control group. That is, you have two groups. It may be that there are no one experimental and one control is supposed to be control. Then you may be comparing two groups in observational study. I don't know if you understand what you call cross-sectional descriptive or comparative study. Like Uko, your work now is comparative study. Is a cross-sectional descriptive analytica rather, cross-sectional analytica, where you have two groups. There is a cross-sectional study in two groups that become analytica. That's the study you did. So in that case, you have two groups. So the statistic per se doesn't have respect for whether something is experimental or observational. What it has respect for, the type of variable you are dealing with, and the group, whether you are dealing with two group or three group or one group or many group. And even when you are dealing with two groups, are they independent group or peer group? That's what statistics all about. Whether you give health education or you give drug, the statistics doesn't, it's you that know that one. So the statistics doesn't know it. So that is just the aspect. So that is why I usually say the aspect of study design that you need in statistics is whether the type of variable you have, then the number of groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. Then the group, are they independent or paired? So in this case now, you have two groups. But because we are comparing mean, the outcome measure is quantitative between the two groups. Now, look at an example we can use for that. The table below shows the number of days lost to absenteeism per month over 15 months due to sickness in the mining and construction industry. Can we say that the mean number of days lost differ in the two industries? So you try to see, okay, we have mining and construction. So many people, because of sickness, they were absent. You try to look at the number of days lost to absenteeism in each company per month. And they did it for 15 months for each of those two companies. So there are two different companies. So because of that, there are two different groups. It's not one. So each element is one month now. There are 15 months here. Now, if we are to use this formula, all we need to do is to calculate the average for the two of them, calculate the standard deviation. I will do that, I still put it on the slide with the hand. Then divide, remove one from the other one, divide by the standard error, because you calculate the standard error from the standard deviation and the sample size, and it gives you the t. But let's quickly look at it. Let me run it now. So nobody is trying to run for us here. I do the running. Okay, because Dr. Larry has not come. Though I know that Professor Itokide can run, but and I promise that if this people that were here, Dr. Larry is around. Oh, you are around. Okay. I didn't know that you enter. So I promised them, the people that attended last week, that if they come this week, I will not bother them to run. I didn't know that the people that will see attend this week are not ready to run because of Hugo. You are a young person. You have not sorted out your laptop issue. Okay. Let me. Or is Dr. Larry? Is he ready to run for us, or I should go ahead and run it? I like it when it is more participatory. When it's not only one person that is doing the thing. So it's not only me that is demonstrating. Other person demonstrate also. Dr. Larry, Dr. Balogun, do you want to run for us? Dr. Balogun.
Let me try. Yes, I'm here.
Do you want to share?
Let me run.
Okay, let me allow you to share. Like I have not. What's wrong with this thing? I'm coming. Let me allow you because I don't know why this is. Oh. Okay, stop sharing. So you can share now. Oh no. Ah, why is it not? Okay, yeah. You can share now. That's day lost to sickness. I think day lost to sickness. That's the name of the file.
Sangino.
It's not responding. Okay, wait to Doctor. Doctor
It's
is not
starting.
responding. Say.
It's still booting up.
Okay, maybe I should share. Maybe I should share my own.
Okay.
So, can you see my own?
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see mining. Yeah, you can see mining and you can see mining and construction, right? If you can see, let me know.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Are you seeing? We are not seeing, no. We are not seeing. It's not showing.
The data view is there.
Don't worry.
The data view is there.
And you see the data view now? Mining and construction.
Yes.
Can you see mining and construction?
Seeing data view?
Yes.
Yes, the data view. Data editor window.
And
yes.
others also seeing it.
Google, have you seen? Did you see it?
I'm not seeing.
Okay, let me stop sharing and do it again. Let me stop sharing and do it again. Can you? No, it's not that one.
What we are seeing is the write-up saying Larry Alogu is sharing his screen.
Okay, maybe.
No.
You cannot see?
We can see.
Okay, we have seen a small, a small, yeah, we are beginning to see it.
No, the data window.
Doctor,
but it's not enlarged. It's not enlarged.
Maybe doctor.
Use your 2 fingers to enlarge it now. If you are using phone.
It should be your laptop then.
Data view. It has come now.
It's your laptop because it's everything. You can see mining and construction, right? Can you see mining and construction?
Yes, mining before then from number 16, construction.
Exactly. Okay, that's it. That's what I is showing. That's what I want to.
Love.
Now, so there are 2 groups. So the mining is 15, the construction is 15, everything is 13, 50, 15. So if we look at their, after the mining, then construction starts. So they are enter in series. So the day loss, this is the day loss. This the variable, the day loss variable is here. What is this thing? Look at the day loss. So analyze, compare means independent T. No, it's not one sample T now. Independent T. Independent sample T. Now click on it. And now the test variable is day lost. You put inside. The group variable is either is mining or construction. You now put it under group variable. When you put it, it will give you question mark. That is, you want you to define the group. That is, which group? Two group. You click on define group. When you click group one, the one you want to, you want to remove one from the other. The one you want to remove from the other one will be number 2. The one that you want to remove something from will be number 1. So number 1 is mining. Because I've coded mining as number 1, so I put 1 for group 1, 2 for group 2. We still come back and do it the other way. You see what results you give us. It gives us the same result, but the issue of negative and positive will be a reverse. The question Uko was asking will be answered. So you now say, okay. So let me share the
output window.
Output window. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it now.
Yep.
This is the output window. You will see that for mining, can you see the, look at the mean. Each of them is sample size 50, 15. The mean for mining is 5.8. The mean for construction is 3.73. The standard deviation is 2.004, 2.086. The standard deviation. Look at the standard error. If you look at both of them, the standard deviation is not too far from each other and standard error. So that shows that their variance is not too far. And you know that one of the requirements for even you to use the t-test is the homogeneity of variance. Variance must not be, and the measure of variance is the standard deviation, standard error. Variance, standard deviation, standard error, they are all the same. Just a matter of this. They are measuring out spread. So you know that the standard deviation is square root of variance. And when you now calculate standard deviation, you want to calculate standard deviation over square root of sample size. So both of them have the same sample size. Look at the standard error, 0.567, but it's not much. So if you now look at 11 tests, the first test here is 11 tests for equality of variances. That is, you want to see these two variances, are they the same? Is there any significant difference? You can see the p-value is 0.67, mean that there's no significant difference between the two variances. If there's a significant difference, the p-value will be less than 0.05. So there's no significant difference between the variances of the two groups. So it is appropriate for you to use parametric test, the t-test.
I hope you covered it.
What do you say?
No, go ahead.
So if you look at even here, the SPSS give 2 options for all these measurements. You say that, okay, the first option is if you assume equal variances, and equal variances not assumed. So there's just, but because it's normally distributed, the variances are almost the same, you will see that the 2 options now are the same. But if let's say the homogeneity of variance is not there, you see the value for the 2 options will differ significantly. You can see that the t-test is the t is 2.742, and see the degree of freedom. because we are having 30 minus 2. You know, each of them is 50, 15. 50 minus 1, 50 minus 1, the degree of freedom. So make it 40 plus 14, make it 28. Or you just say 50 plus 15, make it 30 minus 2, give you 28. So the degree of freedom is 28. And look at the p-value, 0.011. Look at the confidence interval. Look at the mean difference. So this side now, T and p-value, this one is hypothesis test. But this mean difference, confidence interval, this is confidence interval. Now, is it significant or not? So you can respond. You can unmute yourself and respond. Is it significant or not? If you want to respond, you have to unmute yourself because I will not hear you.
It is significant, sir.
Why?
Because it doesn't cross 0, sir.
Great. Because it does not cross 0. Significant. All right. So any other, if you look at, it's the same interpretation. So even for the small one sample T or whatever. So what I want to do now is to go and rerun it. Instead of putting mining first, I'll put construction first. You see. If you look at it, the mining is number 1 that I put first. And the mean for the mining is 5.8. The construction ode is 3.73. And the mean for the construction is smaller than that of mining. So when you remove construction from mining, it gives you positive. That's why the mean difference is positive and this interval positive to positive. Let's rerun it now and just invert it. It will give you the same thing in different way. Analyze, compare means, independent sample. The same is just mean for me to click on this group, define group. I will now change this one to, the first one will be 2, the second one will be 1. Continue, okay. Look at what they give now. Can you see? Can you see the result? If you look at the, what just to exchange this on construction 3.73 mining 5 is the same thing. When you come to 11 test, it's the same thing. But look at what you now see that differs that the T he put minus is the same value. He put minus and mean different minus. Confidence interval from negative to negative. Is this one significant or not?
It's still significant.
Is it significant or not?
It's significant.
It is still significant, sir.
Why?
Yeah, it is.
Because it doesn't cross 0, sir.
Thank you.
It still
That's
doesn't cross
just it.
0, the confidence
Yeah.
interval.
So now, the question you were asking the other time. Now, in this situation, if you look at it, the same.
Yes, sir.
Because the first one, the way we run the operation, we remove the smaller mean from the larger mean. Everything was just positive. But this one, I will remove the bigger mean from the smaller mean. It gives you negative, but it's still the same thing. Look at it. It gives you, when you are reporting, you don't need to go and say minus. You're going to say t-test is minus. Just write it 2.742 positive. So mean different, you don't need to put this minus. Just say 2 is the difference. But when you now get here, you have to invert if you want to remove the negative for the confidence interval. You have to say is from plus 0.523 to 3.6. I don't know if you understand now. Because the range of value, if you look at it, it's just a swap. Look at minus 3.611 minus 0.523. Come up here, 0.523 plus 3.611. Can you see? The value is still the same, it's the direction of the negative sign that's changed. So when you are reporting it, If something was negative to negative, you want to report it as positive to positive, you have to swap the confidence interval. Does it make sense? Ugo. Nobody is responding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I understand, sir. It's clear, sir.
Okay, any other question from anybody? Any question? Is very clear?
It's clear.
Dr. Abbas is clear, right?
Sir, I noticed that you mentioned 11. Is that the name for it?
Look at it, Nigerian, and look at 11 tests. Look at it. 11 tests for equality of variance. 11 is just the person that described it, first described it, that invented the test.
Oh, I've seen it. Okay, because it's down, it's hidden. Variant.
It's not hidden. Look at it. When you run t-test, independent t-test, for 2 groups, it will give you straight. They have already programmed it for you to give you. It's not part of the test, just something you need to consider before you decide to use. If sometimes you want to say, the variance are they the same, you can run t-test. When you run it, give you this 11 test to see if you have to consider using the t-test or not. I don't know if you understand me now. So that's the way to run the 11 test. It's incorporated in the when you want to go and compare mix, when you want to run t-test. So does it make sense now? So 11 tests for equality of variance. Okay, I think we proceed. Let's go to the last.
Sorry, I was breaking.
Breaking? Can you hear me? If you can hear, let me know.
Well, I can hear. I can hear.
Sir, you were
I think
breaking,
it's your
sir.
own network. What did you say? What did you say? What did you say?
She's not hearing us.
Okay, it's not here. Maybe it's her network. It's like she's out.
It must be network or something.
It's her
No,
network
it must
because
be.
she's out now. So I think we continue. Now let me continue. Let's go to the next one.
Dr. Drew, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Sorry, my network has not been very stable today. Has been giving me a lot of difficulties in actually following. But I just want to quickly ask this concerning the last analysis you ran. Now, before we started looking for whether they are significant or not, I could see that the sample sizes for each for the mining and the other company, they are the same. And then, but won't it be like before we start testing for significance to decide, to actually check if there is actually significant difference in the mean value, like it's done for most baseline studies?
Okay.
Before we compare.
That's great. That's a great one. Yes. You see, that one is yes. That's what you are saying. Is descriptive statistics. What we are running is an assumption that you have done your descriptive statistics. You know that the mean is this and this is there. What we are doing now is inferential statistics. I don't know if you understand me now. Before you say you want to compare means, you have already done your.
I understand, but I'm just saying as part of the procedure. I'm just saying as part of the procedure. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm just saying as part of the procedure for comparative analysis, whether it is parametric or non-parametric.
Yes.
In the initial data, will it be, let's say you run the comparative analysis from the descriptive aspect, and there is significant difference at that point. Will it also be justified?
Significant
Hello.
difference in what?
The mean value for both.
How will you know it's significant difference? Because you can only see with your eyes. When you do your descriptive, you just see the difference. You won't know if it's significant. So the actually what you are testing is there any significant difference in the mean? So that's not the issue. The issue now, I thought what you were raising is the variance, the standard deviation. If you see that the standard deviation of these two something is like it's too wide apart. There's much difference in their standard deviation. After all, the mean is different. That's what you are testing. If the mean is, you assume that it's the same, you don't even bother to test. So it's the mean, the difference between the mean you are testing. That's why you are even doing the test.
Okay.
So what you can do before considering the type of analysis you want to do now, whether to go ahead to use t-test or not, or use non-parametric counterpart, is number one, in order or descriptive, you see if it is normally distributed. Then two, you look at homogeneity of variance. And I say that even the homogeneity of variance and the way you can run it in SPSS, they incorporated it into t-test. So if we want to even see if there's homogeneity of variance now, you have to first of all run t-test for it. It doesn't mean that eventually you continue using the t-test. You have to run the t-test to see this variance, especially if you are looking at the standard deviation. You see that it's like they are too wide apart. You can just quickly do t-test and now see what you are actually looking for is that level test to see if the variances are comparable. I don't know if you understand now. So all this issue of inferential statistics, issue of t-test, any test statistic is the realm of inferential statistics. There's an assumption that you have already done your descriptive statistics, you already known the mean, and even tabulated itself. You can run the mean, tabulate it, but you have not run the test. You have run the mean, you have put the two mean, and their standard deviation there. You can even quote the median also, you can put the median also, and you now make your decision. If you now try to explore, you see that the data is skewed. You may decide to say, let me use non-parametric. But in the real life, all those decisions, they go together. In the real life, you run both, you can even run both parametric and non-parametric and see if there's a significant difference in the two, and decide on which one you are presenting. Now, some of the time when we say step by step, yes, step by step, in the real life, if they go together. Even you can even do step 5 before you do step 1 in the real life. But all those things, they are based on experience. You are a surgeon now. You know, I remember when we were in usage, medical student. There's one surgeon, Adebamo, was general surgeon. Yes, he was removing tumor. I don't even know which tumor said. So one student, one of our colleagues asked, how did you know that you have finished removing the tumor? You know, when you remove and they started suturing back, and how do you know that you have finished removing this tumor? I think I want to say from experience. That was the answer. From experience. From experience. So, Dr. Balogu, I don't know if I have answered your question. Are you there? You have to unmute yourself.
Yes. I'm okay. Okay. I've seen the level.
Okay.
The statistics will tell us.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll proceed. Proceed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So we are done with 2 sample t-tests now. So we want to go to 1 sample. This is 1 sample now, pair sample rather. We have done 1 sample, we have done 2 sample, we want to do pair sample. This, well, both of them are 2 samples anyway, but that one is independent samples. This one is 2 samples, a pair sample. That one is in between 2 groups. This one is within 1 group. So we also call it match pair mass pair t-test or dependent t-test. No, mass pair dependent t-test. There are two experiments in a, what are the situations? You have two experimental conditions. Are you the same participant? No, maybe you gave drug to some people, you measure the outcome. Later, if they come by, you give another drug. You measure. Or sometimes you measure before you give the drug. You don't measure after, whichever way. The issue there is not whether you even give anything now. The issue is that the statistics own it. You took measurement 2 times from the same group of people. We don't want to know what you did. So this was just to tell you the condition that warrant the situations. So comparing means of measure taken before and after. Maybe you say somebody sit down, you take blood pressure. When they stand up, you take blood pressure. Since you take this blood pressure 2 times on the same group, it's paired. Then many things. Comparing means of repeated measure taken from the same group in an observational study. Comparing means of peer observation that occur naturally, like intraocular pressure, right eye, left eye, is paired. Even though it's one, you take both of them because they occur in pair. Naturally, it's paired. Right molar, upper molar, left upper molar. Right ear, left ear. Anything that occur, right hand, left hand. Right leg, left leg. Right breast, left breast. Think of anything right and left. So all those things you can, that occur naturally in pair in the body, you can use. Even as surgeon, when you, if there's something that occur naturally and you operate, you can, both of them you can compare in the same, you can take measurement on both sides on the same group and consider as pair observation. Those are the situations that warrant doing this. So when the data comes to statistician, he doesn't want to know maybe the type of study, but you have brought pair, he doesn't, this is pair observation, okay, run the analysis. So look at an example. The table below shows anxiety score before and after counseling of 9 persons prior to disclosing to them their HIV status. Did the counseling significantly influence their anxiety score? Look at this. So 9 people, 9 persons, 1 to 9, they are the same. They did their counseling, they do their anxiety score before they give counseling. After they give counseling, they did the anxiety score. So you can match both of them. That is, for this number 1 person now, maybe it's Johnson. This was the anxiety score, 121. This was it after the counseling, 76. This one, Joel, 93. No, not this Joel. It's Daniel, 93, the same. Okay, it's this Joel, so it's not even excited. He's not moved by anything. So, like that. So you see that when you are entering in, as you're going to look at the space, it's going to be in parallel. So your reading, if you are number 1, when you enter the data, the before and after, you'll be on the same line. It's not going to be in series. The series home is when you are dealing with independent. But this one, this situation is dependent. So it's in parallel. It's in parallel, yes. So I think we go and run it now. I don't know if Dr. Balogun can share it with us. Anxiety before and after. Or I should go on and share. Dr. Balogun. Okay, let me go on. What did you say?
This my network today.
Okay, you're this, don't worry. So I think your computer. No boy, let me just do it now.
I think
let me do it. Let me go and read. Let me go and read it.
Let me check now.
Yeah, share the screen. No,
I've not shared it. I want to share it now.
you are seeing
No, it's the one there before. I want to use it to go and open the file. And I want to use it to go and open the file. The file is the one we have opened before you have seen. And that is called before and after. This is it. Can you see it now?
Yes.
You cannot, eh? Okay, let me share it again because you may not see it.
No, we're seeing.
Yes.
We are seeing clearly.
SBC, SGN. This is the data. Exactly before and after. Can you see? It's a parallel. We put this one in front of this. We did it for independent now. If you remember for mining and construction. After the mining end, you put construction to continue. That is series. Independent, you enter in series. But for parallel, you enter in for the paired, you enter in parallel. So we go for analyze, compare means pair sample T. Can you see?
Yes.
Pair sample T.
Yes.
You see, you put step by
So you
side.
said about parallel.
What do you say? What
No,
did
you
you say?
said for this one you put in parallel, then for one you put in series.
Yes.
I didn't get that part.
So if you remember your study, the study you did, I analyzed for you. You remember that
Yes,
there are
sir.
two groups of them, two independent groups, right?
Yes.
You remember the sample size for each of them? What was the sample size for each of them?
Yes, sir. It was about four of the 420.
474. So if you look at it, you first of all enter the first group from 1 to 4 and something. The second group you enter from that where that one end continue. That is series. Series means one after the other in line. Because there are two independent groups.
Okay.
When you enter in your SPSS, you enter in series.
Okay.
And but if let's say if you pair something, all these people that do experimental study that they do before and after, when they are entering into SPSS, you know the first one take baseline. If they took the baseline, they enter it. When they now take post, they cannot enter it below. They will enter in front also. The only differentiate that all those things before, they will say before. They call it A. The other one, they enter it in front. B. I don't know if you understand me now.
Yes.
Yeah, because that is parallel. Because number one person, if you say, though some of them do nonsense work, it's not all of them that do like that. Some of them they because they say that intervention is an community intervention. They see enter everything in series anyway, but really when you say paired, the one that is paired, the way you do it is, though some people did their own like that, like Duce, you know Duce, yesterday Duce.
Yes.
You know, I analyzed our work also. It was we did it like that because because she went to the same group of people. He noted that I've interviewed you, I did baseline. When they give health education, you went to the same people, I interviewed them. You get the picture now. So if this is number one, number one you enter for that person, maybe that person is Beatrice, and is the number one you enter. During post, you are going to continue on that SPSS and put, even when you say knowledge, have you heard of this? The number 39, have you heard of this one? You enter it, yes. When you finish in the same place for Beatrice,